Aloha and welcome to Wind in Her Hair. I'm Anna, your host, and this episode is going to be about one of the 7 pillars that I teach on, which is the physical pillar. So it's all about your physical fitness, your health, your mindset, and it is connected to the type of relationships that you have. So it always connects to relationship. The relationship you have with other people, romantically, family, friends, the relationship you have with your mindset, not just the relationship you have with your body, which is your vessel. So buckle up because we're going to dive in. This is not going to be an exhaustive episode. We don't have enough time. So it's going to be the things that changed my life that I continue to do year after year that I want to offer to you. If you are just starting off your health journey, then this episode is for you. If you're already in a health journey, you might be able to learn something. So there'll be a PDF at the bottom in the note section, and I will also explain to you or share with you at the end a little bit about my alcohol journey. So let's dive in to one of the 7 pillars, which is about when you level up your body, you level up your life and your relationships. It affects your energy, your confidence, your discipline, your purpose. So I've got my laptop here with my notes because I want to stay on track. Your time is valuable. Before we start talking about getting a gym membership, creating a routine, figuring out what you should eat, the supplements, the gear you need to buy, I want to back up a little bit more because that's where everybody starts. I want to start off with talking about the thing that it's going to take you long term, which is your identity and your why. It's about who are you becoming? Why do you want to be fit and have energy and confidence? So let's dive into that because transformation starts from within, not with what you're wearing or the gym that you're going to. Are you becoming somebody who is stronger and more fit and energetic? Or are you becoming somebody who's just accepted life as it is? You sit on your ass and watch Netflix and you have succumbed to being complacent and not fulfilling your purpose in life. If that's who you're becoming, we need to have a little chat because it's time for a change. It's time for a new you. It's time for a new norm. So your body, this vessel that you have been given to care for is not a project. It's not an obstacle. It's not a hindrance. It's not a chore. It's a beautiful vessel that you've been given from God that you're supposed to treasure and honor, and not just you, but other people. If other people are not honoring or treasuring this body, this vessel, then again, we need to have a little chat. This is why I'm here, to just give you another perspective, something to think about so you can level up your life so ultimately you can have better relationships. It's all about how we interact with others, and the relationship we have with ourselves is the first and foremost, the most important relationship you'll ever have, the most important person you'll ever invest in. So we start with the relationship with ourself. That's a little tangent. I will always go off on that tangent in every episode almost. So when you level up your body, you level up your life, you level up your relationships, period. So let's start off with your why. Now, for me, my why is my confidence. I love feeling fit and energetic. I love that I can put on whatever I want and I feel comfortable in my own skin. I love it. I'm addicted to the confidence, the comfortableness I feel in it. And yes, I do model, so I earn a living from modeling. But if I didn't model, I would still be training. I would still be eating healthy because I'm addicted to it. And yeah, my why is also having strength, having energy, being able to keep up with people and do multiple activities in a day. And actually, my kids have a hard time keeping up with me. I'm the type of person I just want to keep going, keep getting wind in my hair. I could go to the driving range, I could play pickleball, I could work out all in one day. And I'm ready to go do whatever else, wherever the wind takes me. But I'll be honest, I was heavier in my 20s, given birth to 3 children naturally. I hated feeling sluggish and insecure and uncomfortable. And I would never, ever go back to that version of me. Another why for me are my children. My consistency has rubbed off onto them. My beautiful morning routine that I have has become a part of their life. And now, without even having to tell them, 14-year-old, 17-year-old, 22-year-old, they all do daily workouts. And that has become a part of their life. So my why is my legacy. Your why gives purpose to your discipline. And excuses, they lose the power that they once had when your why is strong. So your why is going to be stronger than any alarm clock. Your purpose is going to be what gets you up in the morning. And if you dread getting up, then there's something off about your life in general, and that needs to change because you deserve more. Your why needs to be so big. It gets you out of bed in the morning, excited to start the day, excited to see what doors open, what unfolds, what opportunities come your way. And the opportunity you have to treasure this body by moving it and by fueling it, which we're going to get into later. So your why needs to be big to keep you on this journey without giving up, without making excuses, without going back to your old lifestyle. So let's talk about fitness first. These are just the essentials. This is what's going to keep you moving. Out of all the training I've had, out of all the education I've done, the research, this is the gist of it in a nutshell. Strength training is the foundation. So I had an epiphany a few years back when I started going to a gym. I was on the cardio side. I thought cardio was going to make me skinny and lean and help me lose fat. And after some time, I looked over at the strength training side, the free weights, and I said, everyone over there looks lean and cut and gorgeous. Everyone on my side, the cardio side, looked softer. And I was like, what's the disconnect here? What's going on? What am I missing? And after I did some research, I realized that lifting weights builds muscle, muscle burns fat. I'm like, what the heck am I doing on the treadmill this whole time? So I changed. I started 3 to 4 days a week, hanging out over in the weight section, had no idea what I was doing. In fact, I've had more than one trainer come up to me and be like, it's interesting. I've never seen anyone use that machine like that before. You might hurt yourself, actually. So, do you want me to show you how to do it the right way? And so, yeah, it's super humbling. I have been spending a lot more time lifting weights. My body has changed. The composition of it has changed before my eyes because I do a little bit every single day, year after year. I'm 48, the most fit I've ever been, the most energetic. And it is because of the habits I've incorporated into my life that work for me. So, lifting weights is one of them. And if you're afraid of getting bulky as a woman, you don't have to worry about that. So, muscle burns fat 24/7, even while you're resting. So we have cardio. It's good for your heart, but it's bad when it's overdone because too much cardio can spike your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which is what keeps weight around your midsection. So if you've got the belly fat, look at what you're doing. Look at your lifestyle. Are you doing a lot of cardio? Maybe it's time to go over to the weightlifting side. Resistance training builds your shape. It's what increases your metabolism and, of course, helps out with your confidence. And recovery is just as important. So I have one rest day a week, which is a Sunday, but even on Sundays, I will go to the driving range. It's important. Do your research and make sure that what you're doing for your body works. You need to know your body. So I've spent enough time with my body, paying attention to it and listening to it. I know what it likes and what it doesn't like. And let's talk about the mental aspect. Fitness builds discipline and emotional regulation. So let's talk about this. Something I heard recently was that if you cannot regulate your emotions, you cannot be good with money. You're not going to be good in relationships, and your body is going to be affected if you are not good with regulating your emotions, because that means you are led by your emotions and your feelings. And when you're led by your feelings, you're weak. So if you feel like sleeping in, you're not going to be disciplined. You're not going to be consistent. You're not going to have results. If you feel like reacting to that person because they've offended you, you are not going to have good relationships. People will not feel safe with you. If you cannot regulate your feelings and your emotions and you feel like just going out and splurging one day at the mall, you're not going to be good with your money. So do you see how it's all connected mentally? Even your physical fitness is connected to your mindset. And so fitness builds your discipline and your emotional regulation when you can say yes to following through with yourself when your feelings are screaming for you to be lazy and to sleep in and to bypass the cold plunge or to stop before that last circuit because you feel like you're done. No, little steps consistently daily is better than a leap and a bound once a week. This vessel is meant to be treasured. So treasure it. This gift from God is meant to be nurtured and honored. Remember that. I know I said that, but I feel like you need to hear that again. So every time you choose to work out, You are choosing between what you want now and what you want most. So let's talk about my favorite quote, which you will hear a lot from me. And that is discipline and success is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. What you want now is to sleep in or to entertain the attention of a certain gentleman or a female or to have that extra drink or to eat that extra piece of pizza or to stay up later and watch that show. That's what you want now. That short term gratifies you instantly, short term pleasure, right? What do you want most is to get up and be productive and get shit done, right? What you want most is to not entertain this affection, this attention from this guy who you know something's off in your gut and you see one or two red flags, but you're like, oh, but I want that attention. I don't want to be alone. But what you want most is to have an aligned relationship, right? What you want most is to have a strong, fit body. What you want most is to have energy to be productive. You've got to learn to decide between what you want now and what you want most. And what you want now, usually, if you're not used to choosing between the better of the two, what you want now is usually not good for you. And it's going to take some discipline and some sacrifice. But remember this, everything that's beautiful and worth having is going to take sacrifice, period. So let's talk about nutrition. I love this because I want to make sure my microphone's still on. I didn't always eat to fuel my body. I just ate because it tasted good, because I felt like it. And so now I realize that fuel is not punishment. It's not about deprivation and punishing your body. It's about fueling your body. And let's talk about protein. Protein is what builds your muscle, and most people do not get enough protein. So that's why I've incorporated a specific rule into my life that has to do with protein to help me meet my goals. Carbs are what fuel your energy. That's why it's good to eat some carbs before a workout, like a sweet potato. You want a healthy, clean carb. And then fats are what support your hormones and your brain. So it's really good to have a good combination of protein, fats, and carbs. But I wouldn't suggest counting calories and overthinking it and obsessing about it because that's not going to be sustainable. I used to count calories. I used to watch my micros and my macros and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? What I'm doing now obviously works. And so it's simple and that's what I like. I like simple and efficient. So if that's what you like too, then we're going to get along just fine. Let's talk about gut health. If you are not familiar with what gut health is and the impact that gut has on your entire body, then I would do a deep dive into gut health. We don't have time to go into it right now. And I'm not a professional, but I am a nutrition and workout a little bit of a freak. So I've done my research. And so I would highly suggest you understanding the effect that your gut health has on your body because it affects your mood, your focus, your digestion. So if you've got all sorts of stuff where you're losing hair and you have digestive issues and you're lacking focus and you can't sleep and you've got brittle nails and all this stuff, look at your gut. That's going to be the core of it. Let's talk about hydration. Most people have a hard time drinking water. Let's not make a big deal about it, but let's just do something that actually works for you and helps. This is a 24-ounce bottle. It's not really about how much water you drink, it's about the absorption, right? So you need electrolytes. I try to fill this up 4 times a day because we should generally get about 80 ounces of water per day minimum. So if I drink 4 of these, I'm good. I put a pinch of pink Himalayan salt in my first bottle, fill up with some coconut water because it has natural electrolytes. And because I work out every morning, I take this with me and I drink one full one during my workout. And then I fill up again when I get home. I drink it before coffee because it's really important to put electrolytes into your body before you start drinking coffee. And so I drink another one of these right after my workout, again, like basically the afternoon and then again during the evening time. I don't drink energy drinks. I never drink sodas. And if you want a healthy substitute for soda, I know you may not like to hear this, but listen up anyway. Just get sparkling water and put some stevia drops or natural sweetener and some fresh lime or lemon juice, and your body will get used to it. And then you realize, wow, I cannot believe I was actually putting ounces and ounces of soda into this body. Like it's disgusting to me. It's wild. When I look at somebody drinking soda, I'm like, do they know what they're doing? Because if they really cared about their body, they would find something else to drink besides just sugar-fied carbonated water, which is empty calories. No judgment. I do have a weakness. Okay. I'll share about that later, but it's not food. It's not It's not soda, all that kind of stuff. Fasting, intermittent fasting. Again, if you have never done intermittent fasting, it's a game changer. It helps reset your gut, your digestive system. It gives your body a little bit of a break. It's really healthy to do at least one day of intermittent fasting. I'm not talking about the whole day. I'm talking about your window of eating gets smaller and your window of rest gets bigger. So for me personally, and women, if you want to wake up in the morning and you want this like snatched belly feeling, this will really help. Don't eat dinner past 4 or 5. I'm telling you, it does wonders when I don't eat a late dinner. And let's say if that's pushing it for you, then just don't eat past 6. So talk about alcohol. If you're trying to lose weight, alcohol stops your fat burning for up to 48 hours. It wreaks havoc on your sleep and it raises your cortisol. So if you're trying to lose weight, drinking alcohol is going to disservice you. We need to really be honest with ourselves, not become obsessive, but just be honest. Is this thing serving me? Can I find a substitution? Would I be okay if I laid this down for a little while? And soon it becomes a way of life for you. It's really amazing to look at the old version of me, what I used to eat and drink, and how I used to not work out. And now this leveled up version of me, it becomes addicting. It's not about vanity at all. It's about valuing the treasure that God has given you. And it's about your emotional and your mental health. Because when you have a strong, energetic, fit body, that means you're disciplined. That means you keep your promises to yourself. It affects your mindset and it affects your relationships. So let's talk about why people are overweight. The truth is, I think you probably know this, but let's just touch on it. It's not just about food, right? It's not just that they like to eat. It's emotional, spiritual, and behavioral. It's bondage. Something is going on. And if you are in a relationship with somebody who's overweight and you can't really put your finger on it, just know this, that there's a wound that has been unhealed. There's spiritual chains and bondage over this person's mindset, their emotions, and they're struggling with either depression, or stress or anxiety or either loneliness, or even in a relationship, we can be the most lonely. When somebody's overweight, and especially to have more grace on people who are overweight because it's something deeper beneath the surface that nobody can really see. So people eat to fill that void, the void of stress, loneliness, pain, boredom, whatever. And when they are stressed out, it spikes your cortisol, which is what makes people store belly fat. And you cannot binge your way to peace. I've had the controlled eating disorder where you literally control everything that you eat and you become obsessive about it. But I've never been anorexic. I've never been bulimic, but I did realize in a time in my life, I'm like, wow, I'm giving this way too much thought and this is not sustainable. And so you think that you can eat your way to peace. I think you know by now that's not going to happen. And I like to tell people too, you cannot pray someone into sobriety. I used to think that and just pray and pray for my ex to stop drinking. And I was like, okay, Anna, like that person has to be willing to stop. That person has to be so tired of their own bullshit that they decide they want to stop for themselves and nobody else. Because when somebody changes for you, don't buy it. Head for the hills because they're not going to change for you long term. It's short term. And then once you piss them off or you don't do something they like, they're going to change their ways and they're saying, nope, it's not worth it. I don't want to do this for you. I want to go back to my old ways. You can't change anyone, just in case you didn't know that. I mean, there's a time in my life where I thought I could change my ex. And remember that lack of self-trust equals a lack of discipline. So confidence stems from self-trust. When you can trust yourself and follow through with the promises you make to yourself, that builds confidence. You're not born with confidence, you cultivate it through action steps and consistency. And so if you lack self-trust, it's because you lack discipline. You have to be disciplined and make sacrifices if you want something worth it. And when you are disconnected from your body, because people who overeat, who treat their body like shit, they're disconnected from it. Even people who don't have good sex lives, they're disconnected from their body. And when you are disconnected from your body, you're disconnected from your spirit. So just something to think about as far as relationships goes. And I always tell people this too. Never get into a relationship when you or that other person is overweight, jobless, broke, just got divorced, just broke up with someone, is grieving. Don't do that. It's the worst idea ever because you're going to take on that person's, or if you are that person, you're just going to take your trauma and your unhealed pain and your wounds and your overweightness into that next relationship. And you might even be thinking that they're going to heal you and make you happy and meet your needs and fix everything. And they're not. That's one of the biggest deceptions in this world. And if you're thinking of taking someone on in that life so you can help them and rescue them, please walk away and work on yourself, because that in you is something that you need to work on. If you're the rescuer, you need to stop rescuing and you need to rescue yourself, because you're rescuing that person because you're trying to fill a need in your own life, fill a void, and that's not going to work. So this always goes back to the relationship we have with ourselves. And right now we're talking about fitness. So when you neglect your body, it shows up everywhere in your love life, in your work, in your parenting. That's why it's so important. A lot of people kind of treat their body like an afterthought. It's not an afterthought. This is your foundation. This is your frame. I mean, think about it as like a house. If you have a faulty foundation, the rest of your house is not going to be very beautiful or strong or leveled up, right? So again, don't date anyone who's overweight, broke, or jobless, because you're just going to swap traumas. And the most important thing you can do is to heal yourself first and build stability before you chase connection. Okay, let's talk about lifestyle integration. This is the long game because this is what's important. I don't want short-term changes. I want this to be sustainable till you're, pretty much 80. I mean, I don't expect you to be lifting weights and playing pickleball and going to the driving range in one day at 80, but I want it to be reasonable and sustainable. So discipline, again, is better than motivation, because motivation is a feeling and discipline is a decision. And you're going to choose between what you want most and what you want now. And usually what you want most is discipline and what you want now is just a feeling. Consistency is better than intensity. So I would rather have you go to the gym every day for 20 minutes than twice a week for an hour. Let's talk about your daily non-negotiables. I have a few non-negotiables. For me, I eat a veggie and a protein for every meal. I move my body 6 to 7 days a week. I hydrate as much as possible. And I put myself to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Why? Because I have big goals and I have big dreams and I'm living my purpose. I'm on mission. So when you have that type of mindset, you don't want to sleep in. You don't want to sit on your ass and watch Netflix. And when you have a strong body, you have a strong mind and you have a strong life and you have better relationships. And it is a ripple effect, really. When you have a strong body, you're confident, you have energy, you have a better sex life, and you have more peace because you were able to be disciplined. And it really has a bigger effect than you might think. And true transformation is equal to self-trust. So when you can trust yourself and follow through with your promises, that's when true transformation begins. We have two more sections. We're going to talk about a simple strategy for you. And you may not have thought about some of these things that I'm going to throw at you. And then we're going to talk about my journey with alcohol and then close up with a little recap. Let's keep it simple, of course, user-friendly, sustainable. Let's talk about your workout. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just decide, are you going to get a gym membership or are you going to work out at home? There was a time where I worked out at home for years with a yoga a yoga mat, a pair of 10-pound weights, and a small ball. That's it. That's all I had. I was homeschooling 3 children and had 2 Siberian Huskies and 2 cats and 30 other animals outside. So I'd do my workout in my bedroom. It had to be really easy. I just pulled out my gear, laid it out. I would watch a YouTube video and did an ab workout. I would lift my 10-pound weights and just do calisthenics for the most part. The kids would all come in and ask questions, and sometimes they don't want to work out with me, which is great. The Huskies would come in and sit next to me and on me and slobber and pant in my face. And I just kept with the plan. I did not go by my feelings. And then I started doing bar classes, which were amazing for my body. So I work out now 6 days a week, driving range usually on Sundays. I mix strength training with cardio. And before my workout, I do 2 to 4 minutes of quick cardio burst. So I'll do the row machine for 2 minutes, or I'll do the elliptical for 3 to 5 minutes and get my heart pumping, get warmed up. I do my workout, which is 30 to 45 minutes. And then I always end with some stretching, some yoga poses, and some foam rolling. Okay, it's so important. It's like a massage. You really want to roll out with a foam roller your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings, even on my back. That's the recovery part of working out. And then I like to jump in the cold plunge for a minute or two and the sauna if possible. I always am listening to a podcast, an audiobook, or a motivational YouTube video because I want to be educating my brain at the same time. Some people like to listen to music. Do whatever it takes so that it's fairly enjoyable for you. And I'm going to tell you, I don't love working out, but I do it because I'm addicted to the results and my body is thanking me for it. So let's talk about the food basics really quick. If you've never read the book Fit for Life, it's been around for 20 plus years. I read it over 20 years ago, probably 25 years ago, and I still adhere to it to this day. This is the gist of it. There's 4 types of food that we combine, and you don't wanna combine all of them. You only wanna combine 2 of them. Otherwise, it's gonna wreak havoc in your digestive system. It's gonna take longer to digest. It's gonna make you gain weight. So there's fruit, carbs, protein, and veggie. The fruit is kind of fragile. What's the word? It's meant to be eaten on an empty stomach, and you wait 30 minutes for it to fully digest. So fruit digests the fastest. Next time you eat fruit, and you normally eat fruit with other food, notice that when you combine the fruit with other food, like a carb and a veggie and a protein, you get bloated and indigestion, maybe heartburn. And then try not eating fruit with those other foods and see how your body reacts. Because for me, if I eat fruit with other foods, forget about it. I've got like gas and bloating and all those wonderful, fun little symptoms. So for years now, I don't combine fruit with other food. Second, you don't want to combine protein and carbs because that takes a lot longer to digest. Wow. To digest, and it's just going to give you symptoms you don't want to deal with. So, if you want to digest the quickest without bloating and gas and all that stuff, then do this. Choose one, protein or carb. Eat the protein with a veggie or carb with a veggie, but do not eat all 3 together and don't combine the carb and the protein because it's going to take longer to digest and you're going to regret it. And so just do this experiment with your body and see how it works for you. So for me, I was not able to eat enough protein, so I started just eating a protein and a veggie for every meal. And so in the morning, if I don't have eggs and spinach, I will have chicken and broccoli for breakfast if that's what's available to me at the moment. And so I just make sure that I eat a veggie and a protein for every meal. And then if I eat a carb, it's going to be something clean like a sweet potato. And I don't keep processed food in my house. I mean, if anything, like I just had this. It's a gluten-free dark chocolate coconut thing. I know you're probably disgusted that I just showed you this dark chocolate coconut ball and that maybe not how you eat, but you have to think about your reality of the situation. If you're in your 40s, 50s plus, and you're a little overweight and you're soft and what you're doing clearly is not working, you've got to be willing to think outside the box and make some changes. You can't eat like you were in your teens or your 20s anymore. Come to the conclusion that I can't eat as much food in the way that I used to eat in my 20s and my teens. So I've had to make changes, and it's been a transition that's taken place over years. It doesn't have to take years for you. It could literally take weeks and months, but it has to be sustainable. And the key is to replace your bad habits with healthier ones. So, like I said earlier, if you like soda, then just take some sparkling water and some stevia drops and some fresh lime or lemon juice. Or maybe you need to start eating gluten-free. I mean, it's so easy to eat gluten-free these days. Or maybe you need to cut out a little bit more dairy, which is what I've done. I'm not 100% dairy-free, but I will try to go dairy-free at home as much as possible. And I've just incorporated more clean, whole foods into my life. I don't eat out a lot. I don't ever order food to the house because it's hard to eat healthy if you don't make it yourself. And I don't like to cook. So if anybody has an excuse, it's me. But what my routine now is to make a veggie and a protein in the beginning of the week, store it in like 7 containers, put it in the freezer, and then every day I just bring one out and put it in the microwave. So I'm not in the kitchen. I have more time to do things that I love. I'm eating healthy. I know what I'm eating, which is key. Another thing that we need to do is notice your triggers and remove them. So for me, my trigger was like 5 o'clock at night down by the pool. I'd want to have a cocktail, or even in my living room. I was used to having wine, playing my guitar, writing music. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're going to get into why I was drinking. And so you have to look at your own triggers. If If you walk by the same restaurant every day and it's tempting for you, then don't walk by that restaurant, don't drive by it. And if you're trying to cut out drinking, then don't hang out with your friends who just want to drink and who judge you for not wanting to drink. Or stop ordering DoorDash, or stop going out to eat so much. Stop going out in the weekends in general. And realize what your triggers are and replace it. So if 5 o'clock somewhere you want to have a drink, maybe actually do a workout. That's what I've done sometimes. Maybe go play some pickleball. Maybe go clean your house. I don't know. Whatever it takes to break up that routine and to mitigate the trigger, right? So you need to build an environment that supports your goals. So if you have to go into your kitchen and just purge and buy some meal prep containers from Amazon, which is what I've done, and order your groceries from Kroger or Publix or Whole Foods. Set up a system and a routine for your life that not just saves you time, but saves you from failing and saves you from continually making those same bad decisions that you're trying to get away from. So let's kind of end with my journey with alcohol. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not sober 100% at all, but it was an issue for me. And so I want to share this with you to help you if you have an issue with something yourself that you know does not serve you and you feel like either God or yourself is telling you, "Hey, like lay that down." This is what I did to help. And I don't go to AA, I don't go to recovery programs. But I've let it go for now and I feel incredible. And I'm not saying I'm not going to have another glass of wine ever. And I would have a glass of wine if I was celebrating something with someone, but I'm not drinking on my own anymore because I feel lonely. And that's what it came down to for me. I didn't grow up in an alcoholic family, but I ended up marrying somebody and that wouldn't stop drinking for anyone, even to save our marriage, and alcohol ruined our marriage. And so I gave it up for a while, but then when I left Hawaii to come to the mainland, San Diego, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, and now Nashville, on this journey that God took me on, I was drinking a lot more and I was drinking by myself because I felt the need to drink because I was trying to numb these feelings that I had that I didn't want to feel anymore. And I felt two feelings. One was I felt guilt for not having my kids with me, and that's a long story. I've shared about it a little bit in previous podcast episodes. But it's basically after my divorce, I moved to the mainland to create a better quality of life for us and to have a better career and to become financially independent. But at the same time, it's not happened in my time frame. And it's been really hard coming from a homeschooling mother who has been with her children every single day of their lives and who has loved every minute of it. Like, really, there's parents who send their kids to school and then it's like a Christmas vacation. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my kid to go back to school. I'm homeschooling my kids and I'm thinking, I can't wait to start school again on Monday and do this new science project that I'm going to totally geek out on and dive into the next conjugation of Latin. My point is that I was the stay-at-home homeschooling mother, and then to go to not having my kids living with me has been the hardest thing in my life, even harder than being married to a narcissistic, alcoholic, submissive avoidant. And so I started to feel guilty without even knowing it. And then I started to feel lonely for them. Not lonely for a romantic relationship, just lonely for my kids, for the routine, for tucking them in every night and tickling their backs and singing songs to them and hearing about their day and seeing their eyes full of wonder and curiosity when they experience something new. Wow. I still feel very strongly about this. I'm feeling emotional. But I was feeling really bad and I wanted to drink. And not where I'm passing out, but I would drink 2, maybe 4 glasses of wine. And I wanted to just avoid that feeling. I wanted to ignore my situation and the pain of it. And then I had a mindset coach, someone who brought this to my attention and said, "Hey, can you stop drinking for a while?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I could do that." And then all of a sudden I realized it was a struggle and I didn't want to stop drinking and I would go back and forth. I wouldn't drink for a month and then I would start making up excuses and justifying why I wanted to drink by myself. And the guilt piece was taken care of, but after that was taken care of and I did good for a while, then I started to realize there was a loneliness piece. And so then I started drinking again because I felt lonely and I just missed them so much. I couldn't go back to Hawaii and for a number of reasons, and I just believe in my heart that God has me in Nashville for healing, and He has me here for a bigger purpose, and that He's going to bring my kids. It's just not gonna be in my timing, and until then, He's healing me, He's working on me. It's not like I'm just sitting on my ass twiddling my fingers waiting for my kids to come. There's a bigger purpose at play here. And so I realized, okay, God, and all he wanted was my full attention. And he didn't have my full attention because my attention was on drinking and numbing the pain. And this is part of personal growth, people. This is part of having a growth mindset. If you're not willing to sit in the pain and the grief and the loneliness and to embrace it and to embody it and to process it and look deeply and ask the question, where is this coming from? Then you don't have a growth mindset. You have a fixed mindset, and you're not going to be leveling up this area in your life if you cannot sit with your pain and ask, where did this come from? And so, what I did was I said, why am I trying to numb this moment when God can be in it with me? And that changed my life. And so, then I realized, okay, I'm going to lean and on God, I'm going to press into him because he's more than enough. He's more than capable of helping me. And so what I started to do was I would make myself a mocktail because I liked that ritual of having a cold beverage while I'm sitting down playing music or sitting by the pool. And that will help too. Just keep the ritual of having something to drink, just let it be a mocktail. And so when I started to feel the loneliness, I just said, God, I invite you into this moment of loneliness with me. And he gave me peace. It's wild, but I'm totally fine not drinking. And another part is that he cannot have me doing certain things if I'm leaning on alcohol as a crutch because he's not enough for me. I mean, think about that. And you can apply this in any area of your life with your family members, with your loved one, with your spouse. How can you be your best version to your children, to your lover, if you're leaning on crutches to feel peace? I mean, it doesn't work. So I want to encourage you with this. I'm going to end with this. If you feel like there's something in your life that you need to lay down that's not serving you, then it's time. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign from heaven. You just know it's not serving you. And personally, I just simply was not enjoying it and it was not serving me. So I said, okay, this needs to be dealt with. I was running from it. I was trying to pretend like it wasn't there. Maybe nobody would notice if I didn't get eye contact with it. That's not the case at all. I just ended up prolonging my healing. So for you, if you need to lay something down for a season in order to get healed, to get better, to deal with something, like, first of all, that thing that you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing, why are you doing it? Where is that coming from? What void are you trying to fill? And if you don't know God, maybe now's the time for you to reach out and say, hey, I invite you into this moment with me. I want to do X, Y, and Z right now, but I invite you in to help me. So I'm going to end with that. I hope that this was helpful. Again, this is not about perfection. It's about respecting the body, the treasure that God has given you, and make sure that other people respect it and treasure it too. And if there's somebody in your life who is not treasuring your body, it needs to happen. You're in that relationship because you feel like you're not enough. And the best thing you can ever do is to have some freaking backbone and walk away and heal yourself. Spend time with yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, knowing what you bring to the table. Your body is sacred. It's not a project, it's a gift for you to honor. And when you honor your body, everything else starts to align, especially relationship. So I'll end with that. I want to thank you so much for your time. And if you have not already left me a review, please go do it. I would accept any review. I want to hear the feedback as feedback is a gift. And please share this with someone you know that needs to hear it. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok and all the places. So I will see you next week. And I'm so happy that you're here. Aloha.